Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sunday Jamz with Joe, Shak, and Sam. And on the agenda today is a track review of Chelsea Wolfe with her new song, 16 Psyche. So, let's jam. So, Chelsea Wolfe is a woman who sings music. She makes dark wave. She's kind of makes dark wave revival because dark wave really was big in the 80s. But she's kind of brought it back. She's been around for basically for the 2010s. I don't know if she was around before that, but that's where the bulk of all her
she's hit her stride in the early 2010s.
Yeah, that's where all her big albums have come out. This is a teaser track off of what will be her fourth album. Straight away thoughts. Obviously, it was like, okay, well, this is clearly a doom metal song. So, I kind of went into it thinking I was going to hear something and then had to kind of change my perspective to kind of really think about the song in a sense. I do really like the doom metal guitars and the drums. I like the through the verses and the choruses. I like the instrumental, the instruments. Yeah, I think they're good. But to me, really, the high point is her vocals. I really like the dark, heavy vocal effects that she has, which is basically her signature. She always has that stuff. I love the final verse because I love how she just switches to all falsetto. It's like a nice surprise for me. But I feel like maybe her voice doesn't get enough accenting in this song. I feel like her music should be about her, and this song sounds like it was just made by a doom metal band in a sense. I feel like she's battling for the spotlight in a sense. Not in like they're just so good that she can't compete, but more in a sense of like, is this song supposed to be with her in the forefront? Because at the moment, especially the way it's mixed, she's not that loud. In comparison to what one might expect.
I don't feel like she ever really is.
No.
She's always very like. Maybe it's just because of the strength of doom metal or metal instruments in general. I'm not used to her metal sound. I've only listened to Apocalypsis.
This is the most metal thing I've ever heard.
Yeah. And I feel like metal is quite a kind of, in terms of instrumental, in terms of like an instrumental section, a metal instrumental section is quite a thing to try and compete with vocally. You kind of either, usually you get vocalists who are very into being sucked into the atmosphere that the metal's creating, or you get vocalists who are really loud and powerful and who are able to kind of stand on top of the metal vocals. With here, it kind of feels like the former, and it's just weird because it's like, if you're a solo artist, the song should be accenting you in a sense.
See, I think the kind of vibe that she's going for, which is what her voice lends itself to, in my opinion, is just kind of this disembodiment. Like she's almost kind of like a ghostly figure through her vocal delivery. And I think, based on listening to Abyss as well, there are times where Chelsea lets her vocals kind of fall back and almost kind of get drowned in this atmosphere that she creates. Like on Carrion Flowers, which is the opening track of Abyss, you do get that, and it's even more so here. Like, I feel if Chelsea is meant to be the kind of agent that carries us through the atmosphere of this song, that she is really just drowning in these doomy vibes, especially when the guitars really kick in, when you get that nice boost in volume and the chug. It's just a very well realized atmosphere, I think, and Chelsea's voice, especially when she goes into the falsetto, kind of plays into that more kind of spooky or succumbed to the power of this instrumentation, and I liked that personally.
Yeah, same.
For me, it's the wrong kind of drowning in a sense, because like from some of the stuff I've heard in Apocalypsis, there are these things when she drowns in like waves of effects, of like dark effects, and it's like that kind of smothering in effects. I feel like metal is such a like loud, domineering force. It's not that atmospheric in a sense. In the same kind of way, I imagine her atmosphere as being quite cloudy and ethereal and dark wavy and that kind of thing. I feel like it's for me, it's more like her being less drowned and more like pummeled in a sense.
Pummeled also works in that sense because I still think that she's being overpowered by this instrumentation on purpose.
Yeah, I think she's doing it on purpose. Yeah, sure.
I really like what she's doing on the track. It feels like what she was kind of doing on Abyss, but like she's like fully doubling down on the metal aspect.
Yeah,
but like I don't feel like it's like unatmospheric.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't feel like it's just like erasing her from the track. I feel like because like in the verses you've got that kind of just like moody kind of riff that lets her shine a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got her doing her thing, and then in the chorus, like she sounds even more drowned.
Mm-hmm.
But then she drops back out of it with the high pitched vocal towards the end of the chorus. It's like she's kind of like coming in and out of like this smoke, this abyss.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's some kind, like you said, like she's some kind of ghostly apparition. Like I definitely think that's the vibe she's going for, and like she's some kind of being.
Yeah.
Personally, I feel like that would have been more realised with something that actually sounded kind of ghostly and kind of smoky. And I just don't see doom metal riffs as sounding anything like those kind of things.
Well, I feel like she's already done a ton of that.
Well, yeah, sure, but I feel like it's... Yeah, I mean, fair enough. If she wants to change her sound, she can. I just like it doesn't. I don't think it holds. What I love about Chelsea Wolfe, or at least what I loved about Apocalypsis, was her voice, and I felt like what she did in the back of that always really brought out her voice, even if she was being submerged in effects. Her voice was always really being brought out by what was going on.
That's fair enough. Yeah.
For here, it's just like. I don't know, maybe slightly I don't even feel like they're at odds. It's just I feel like
the focus is in the wrong place, perhaps.
Focus is kind of like being evened out in a sense. Right. Like the focus is it feels as much on the instruments. And I feel like when I get onto the instruments, when I feel like if there was a really great instrumental thing going on here, then I could really like forgive that in a sense. But to me, this feels quite like, I feel like, coming from just being a history of being really into metal, this doesn't feel like really special metal in a sense. Like it's structured very like a classic metal song. The riff is cool. It's nice, but it's not like, wow, that will go down as one of the best metal riffs I've ever heard.
I don't think it's meant to be like a sick riff, though. I think it's mainly just for the atmosphere, just the thickness of it.
Yeah, it's just not very...
As usually is in doom metal.
I think, yeah, but I mean, that will even go down as one of the best doom metal riffs I've heard, like it doesn't really even compete on that level of the doomy atmosphere.
But I don't think she's going for a sick riff. I think she's going for like... Because I think what she does best is like kind of create contrasts between like these huge thick spaces and then like these empty, the negative spaces. And like it kind of creates like this... almost like feeling of like distance, like there's like as if you can kind of, I don't know, as if there's some kind of sonic space being created by the sound, and it grows and shrinks with the thickness and the emptiness, and her voice sounds either like naked when it's just her doing her falsettos, and then it sounds completely drowned in other times, and I think that's what the massive swell of metal kicking in achieves.
I agree with what I like about Chelsea Wolfe being the same as you. I just don't see it being achieved here, basically.
That's fair enough.
Not that it's not that even that it's bad. It's just that I don't know, it feels like the atmospheres are at odds. The atmosphere between her voice and the atmosphere of doom metal instrumentation. because that is what this is. It's doom metal instrumentation. Doesn't feel like the same kind of atmosphere being achieved. Like, from just liking doom metal and listening to a lot of doom metal, I have a very distinct atmosphere that doom metal is usually going for.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not going for like a typical doom metal, like, this isn't like a My Dying Bride song or anything like that.
I feel like it can't help it. Like it can't help but achieve that, because you've literally used doom metal instrumentation. Like, this isn't special doom metal instrumentation. This is just doom metal instrumentation. It's not like she's really changed it up to be like, it's not like it's like covered in like really ethereal effects that make it almost not even doom metal instrumentation. This is literal just doom metal instrumentation with her on it. So like, because it's that, I can't help but have that atmosphere conjured for me of doom metal. Like,
I don't know what it is. To me, there's something about it that sounds particularly Chelsea Wolfe. Like, going from listening to Abyss, it's just because it's like such like a simple sounding riff in the verses. It's, I don't know, there's something so, I know they're always minory sounding doom metal riffs, but like, there's just something really understated about them almost. I don't know, it's really hard to explain, but there's a certain Chelsea Wolfe vibe that I get from the instrumentation on this song. I wouldn't call it standard. Really?
To me, like, I don't feel like if Chelsea Wolfe wasn't on this, there'd be no way I could tell that this was made for Chelsea Wolfe, or this was
I think I could.
Wolfe song. I definitely could not.
I recommend listening to Abyss. You might know what I mean a little bit more.
Yeah, I guess so, but it just doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't. Like, I don't know. I just don't see it being. Yeah, I just don't hear it. I don't hear it being any different from the doom metal that I'm used to, in a sense. Which, yeah, it's kind of a problem for me. It's kind of like, for me, it was just like, doesn't feel like very special in terms of the instrumentation. Overall thoughts, I think I still like the song. There's not really anything bad about it. And yeah, I wasn't the biggest fan of Apocalypsis. Like, it's good, but it wasn't like, I didn't think it was like great or anything. So maybe I'm not just that big a fan of Chelsea Wolfe in general. She's cool though. But this isn't one of my favorites. Like, I prefer a lot of Apocalypsis to this. And I do think there's something at odds with the doom metal and the usual Chelsea Wolfe vibe. I feel like two things are trying to be achieved here, and they're kind of conflicting. So I'd say I'd give this like a decent 7. Like, it's still pretty good, but it's just not special to me, really.
It's got me hyped for the new album, His Spun. And it's made me regret not going to see her live when she was in the UK, like, not too long ago. Because, like, I do quite like this song. Like, it's the most metal thing I've ever heard her do. And whilst I do like it, I hope it isn't just going to be like a really metal-y album, because I like the weirdness that Chelsea brings and the amount of like barren soundscapes are on her albums usually, especially on Apocalypsis and Abyss. It just sounds empty a lot of the time. I don't want there to be loads of these huge riffs. But no, hype for the album. I'd give this song an 8.
So, like Joe, this track has got me excited for the album. I don't know how I'll feel about it with more and more listens, because there's not too much to this track, but this is definitely a good hype track, and it's solid overall. And like Joe, I hope that the album isn't entirely like this, because I like Chelsea's use of electronic sounds as well.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, which you do get a lot of on Abyss.
Yeah, definitely on Abyss.
So, whilst I appreciate this new direction, I do hope that the album provides some variety and leans towards her strength of using electronics with this kind of sound. In terms of a score, this is a decent 8. This is a solid track for me, and there's a lot to like here as well.
Going back to what you said about it, about barrenness, I think that's what one of the things that was missing for me here. Is that I'm used to that barren feeling that you definitely get a lot on Apocalypsis as well.
Yeah, I definitely want to hear more of that.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, everybody, for listening. If you guys have listened to 16 Psyche, what did you think about it? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Please let us know. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, tune into us for the next track that comes out that then we talk about. And until then, we will see you when we see you.